Live from the Flannel Beaver Studios in the comfy confines of Northern Ontario, Canada, it is the SWC Round Table. Welcome back. We were gone last month, but it is summer here in Canada, and that's important. I'll explain why in a second. So, welcome back, and we're live streaming. Today, we're doing something a little different. I'm having a conversation with a couple gentlemen from Australia, and they have a fantastic... It's a creation on YouTube, and you have to check it out. The Blue Bantha Milk Company. Am I correct in saying you get the CO? That's your corporation or company, or
yeah. We're incorporated.
Oh, there
we're incorporated
you go.
And embezzling.
And embezzling.
Yeah, it's all good.
So, all right. Well, first, introduced Matt. Welcome to the roundtable, Matt.
Hey. Thanks for having us, Robert.
Yeah,
thank you. It's
absolutely.
nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining me this evening, or sorry, this morning for you guys, and Sean also for joining us. So we should explain. Yes, you're from Australia. It is Saturday evening.
Yes,
where I am now. I'm 4 hours north of Toronto in Canada, and you're on the other side of the globe. So this took a little bit doing, but you guys were so great. It's literally Sunday morning where you are. I'm 8 o'clock at night, Saturday night. I'm not going anywhere. I'm a Star Wars fan. Like, you know, we have a virus. Like, let's be honest. You know, I mean, it's not like I had big plans. So this is perfect for me. But so welcome. Just a little quick origin story. Matt and I, we met.
We did.
In Chicago.
I apologize now.
No problem. We should explain.
I met as well.
We met at a brewery. In Chicago.
Therein lies the apology.
I'm Canadian. We're all about apologies. It's fine. Like we're.
Oh yeah, British colonies. We get it.
Oh yeah, Commonwealth.
Oh yeah,
right. Absolutely. Yeah. So we met and we had a quick conversation. I did a live podcast with a friend of mine. We were joined that evening by the Force Toast ladies. They followed us with doing a live podcast from this brewery, and of course Rogue Squadron podcast, Cody and Mopar, they were hosting the event, so they were so nice, and they had me and my buddy Steve on, and then the Force Toast ladies, and it was an awesome evening. I quit drinking just shortly before I went to the States, which is a good thing. That anyway, so you know, I don't have any wild and wacky stories. But it was a great night, and it was a great night to talk to people and meet people. And so I got turned on to Blue Bantha Milk. You know what I mean? And when
I'm glad that you finished that sentence.
I was like, pause.
We're not meant to.
I got turned on.
Even if I was drinking, it's American beer now. Come on, like I mean, how much? How much could I have?
Shots are fired.
Well, come on, we're being serious here. Let's. So anyway, so I get home from celebration, and Matt, as you know, you empty out your little. Everybody carries around a little merce or backpack or purse, whatever you're into, and you have cards and stickers and stuff and and contacts, and you're like, who's this person? Who's this person? And thankfully, because I'm sober, I was able to piece it all together.
Yeah, you can remember.
Yeah. You're like, who's this Canadian Rob guy? What is he? I don't know. There's a selfie or something. So you guys have a really interesting thing that you do. Matt, do you want to walk through us, or Sean?
Yeah. We'll handball, I think. Okay. Because I think that's also how we work. Interestingly, which we'll explain that, because it's Sunday morning here. We're coming to you from lockdown number 5 or 6, so it's not like we're not going anywhere either. Right. But we don't live that far away from each other, but we don't exactly live like a street away.
Right.
No. So in a time like this, that basically has meant, like, for the last year and a half thereabouts, I think I've seen Sean. How many times have we met up? Like twice, maybe?
I think twice. Probably twice, because like we met up just before Christmas at the pub to exchange presents. Like, I think the lockdown had just
3 times.
Star Wars. 3 times.
Yep.
Yes. So we met then. Then we went to IMAX and watched all 3 of the original trilogy, which was fantastic, considering we then went into lockdown quite soon after that. And then, you came around to mine the other week briefly. Like you haven't actually even met my son. Like you've kind of seen Gus asleep. That's it. You've just seen him.
Well, I haven't I haven't
had a good play or anything.
No, I haven't shaken him or anything like that yet.
No,
dropped him. No. So I've seen him asleep.
Yeah. That's a start. That's his best. That's when he's at his best. No, actually, that's a lie. He's actually, he's good. He's good news.
Yeah. So we've been kind of very asynchronous and detached and whatnot for something that is very much a partnership. But it's been kind of conducive to, I think, how we both work and what we've been doing lately. Because we started off. Rob, do you prefer Rob or Robert?
Rob is fine. That's
cool, Rob. So, Robbo, when we started and when we met, Rob, like it was, I can't remember. Sean, did you come on pre or post celebration?
Pre.
Yeah, it was pre, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was doing like some stuff from here on the
on
the Instagram, just like talking about how I wasn't.
That's right. Chicago. Yes.
And then we did have a call, and I interviewed you while you were next to a giant golden turd, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, in Chicago. That's actually what it's called. I'm naming art.
Yeah. No,
it's called the SHIT fountain.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is its name. We were working together then already. We had been working together for a while, and we've been doing video essays, basically.
Yeah.
As everyone, I think, starting YouTube does. It's either you're going to do live streams or you're going to do video essays. And we didn't want to do live streams. Also, we didn't have the broadband infrastructure here, thanks government, to support doing live streams. Like at the time, we were still on ADSL.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I think we've only had reasonable broadband over 12 megabits, at least in my area.
Yeah.
2 years, maybe.
I would say maybe even less.
Oh,
less,
wow.
yeah.
Because we got it at my old house, and I was only in there for like 2 or 3 years, and I moved recently.
You guys Australia's huge, and it's a continent, but you're an island. Like,
so
my neighbors are Americans, so we got all the latest and greatest internet stuff.
So. Well, Australia is the same size as the continental United States, but has 28 million people in it. So there's a lot of empty space, but a lot of people. It's like a lot of satellite cities, and there's pockets and that kind of thing.
90% of Canadians' population is in the bottom 10% of the country.
Of course,
it's way too cold. And we're 33 million right now. Like, anybody watching can wiki and they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So you have this. You're on YouTube. Exclusively. Yeah. Like you're not a podcast. Like you don't do anything.
No, only for our patrons.
Yes.
Plug. Become a patron. Yeah. So we're only on YouTube. We've dabbled a little bit in Facebook streaming. Once we could stream, we were like, hey, we can do this. But oh god, that was a battle, like to get that up and running. But we were still doing essays, and so we'd work collaborative. That word on together. We'd work together on things. We'd pass scripts back and forth and all that sort of stuff, and come up with concepts and all that, and do the YouTube thing. Toil, put it out there and get 100 views, 200
I hear
views. Yeah, it's the thing. And then that all kind of changed December, just before Christmas. I was in the car or something like that, and I had this. I was like, because I'd been watching some stuff on artificial intelligence on YouTube, and I was like, it sort of just got some cogs turning in my very dusty brain, and I was the art of scripts, write stories, artificial intelligence. Sean, let's write a sequel to the sequel trilogy using artificial intelligence and perform it live. So I said that to Sean.
Obviously.
And
Sean. This all
yeah,
occurred in the pub. Like I said, we'd met up in the pub when the lockdown had ended. I think I'd just been to kind of have my real estate inspection of this house that I'm in now.
Right.
So that would have been like December 22nd. It was like right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was it. You kind of pitched the idea to me, and then we started bouncing ideas back and forth. And then we were like, oh, I wonder if this person would want to get involved, or this person. And we were thinking quite like within the community, forced host, and like you say, people like that. And what was amazing was like when we actually started writing the script, or to jump slightly to the end, once we sort of had a script going and we could talk about it more, all the people we asked were like, yeah, give it to me. I'm all over it. You know, I really want to do it. And we got like just every time we've done one of these things, the support we've had from the community of people kind of wanting to be involved has been quite overwhelming, to be honest. And
well, actually,
it's a 180.
I have an ulterior motive here, gentlemen. I usually wait till after when we're done with the live stream, but this is a first. You're gonna get an exclusive roundtable.
Wait till the booze is kicked in.
Yeah, no, I want to throw my hat. I want to literally throw my hat in the ring. Next, if you do solo 3, can I do Lobot? I'm just right. And I'm wearing the same headphones I wear when I record. I just took my hat and glasses off. So there you go.
My God.
Some people are Superman. I'm Lobot.
Oh my God.
So
Sean, I think
so,
we're gonna have. Yeah,
I've instantly got an idea for you because we have got a Lobot.
There's a few.
Would you want to be Brobot? Lobot's brother.
Fantastic. Can he? I have a stipulation just because I'm not great with accents and I don't want to insult him. Can he be Canadian?
Of course.
Or from the flannel beaver parsec, or whatever we come up with. Yeah.
Oh, the accent thing has never been an issue with.
Yes.
If you watch episode, so sorry, just to kind of finish off what like Matt was saying. So like we so Matt pitched this idea, and then he kind of did the research and found an AI program. And then, like he says, with that sort of, we got all the 9 original scripts, fed them into this thing, and told it to write this script. And then, so Matt went through it. He wrote a script, passed it to me. I went through it, made changes. We just passed it back and forth. And we went back into lockdown, I think, or maybe we didn't.
Something like
but
that.
Yeah. We were sort of just like, the lockdown was quite tame or whatever. We still couldn't actually see anyone. Or every time we do actually plan to see each other, there's a lockdown, or there's like a mild lockdown. So it's like, I'll stay home for this weekend. Like, oh, dude, come on. So that was cool, kind of like passing it back and forth. And then we performed it. And it's probably been the most popular video we've ever done. I think that first episode.
The first one,
got featured on AV Club and I think Screen Rant and a bunch of other websites. Went international. There was like an Italian site and a Spanish site and a Danish site and all this. And basically, it's just absolute. It's just absolute insanity.
Well, I was diving in just before because we're doing the round table, and I've seen them as they come out. And again, I hear about like the first toast there with Alice and Laura. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm on this one." Or it's like, so it's. Everybody knows each other, and a lot of us have had the privilege of actually meeting each other, which is great. Except it's very, very strange. It's like, oh, I've seen that person. Like, where was it? It was Chicago, right? Yeah, and so like it's we all have this community, but this disconnect, and then and like with my Lobot joke, I usually after I'm done recording because I have the headphones on, and I take the hat off, take my glass. So it's. And every time I do a round table, it gets lots of laughs. So that was a first.
But just like as a little interject on that, Sean, you said it, and I was thinking the same thing. Just so you know, because we've cast a Lobot. We haven't told anyone that, but considering you just threw your hat like right into the ring, we'd better say it straight away. So. We've got a Lobot, but as soon as you took your hat off, I thought Lobot's brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you went Brobot, and I was like, so this is how it works.
This is how it works. exactly how
I'm
it
so glad
works.
I can be your muse.
Yeah,
But no, that's fantastic. And then so I'm watching, and you have to see anybody that's listening to this. You have to watch these videos. You can't describe. You're thinking, okay, what AI wrote this? Like I've been watching.
Yeah.
You're catching up on your Lando, your Calrissian Chronicles, and and it's Chris, right? That
yeah,
that
Chris
plays.
Ryan's from Bro Axiom.
Oh, just fantastic. And he's when he's talking about his sixth and seventh wives were Jawas.
Jawas.
Then
Clones
they're
of
clones
Jawas.
of Jawas.
Who hate me?
And then they
Yeah,
have
they
all
all
these
hate me.
babies. And it's like, but because you know AI wrote
Still here. Yeah.
Right, we're back. There we go. Sorry about that.
Yep,
Okay.
we're back. There we go.
So because you know it's AI that wrote this, it makes sense somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very no, that's actually very astute because sometimes so the actual process is say we put all these scripts in and we let it feed out nonsense. And then we have to sort of wrangle that nonsense into something. So like when we did Solo 2, so we take it in turns. So for Solo 2, I did like the first draft of a script. And then we sat down and we said, okay, we've seen each other. Well, maybe that was before Solo 2, because you came around to wine and we had dinner and then we sat up and
yeah, I ate a lot of butter that night.
We did. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
just pure butter.
Yeah.
So yeah, with Solo 2, with Solo 2, we had the script and then we sat down and said, okay, what's the plot? And then we had to cut scenes and all that and actually make it work. Because you can't just say go and just let the AI do it because it'll get stuck in loops. Or like the Lando thing, my first wife was this, my second wife was this, my third wife was this. And I was like, okay, how many times are we going to keep this going before we have to stop it? Because it will just keep going forever. So we're like, okay, what's a funny number? 7. Okay, 7 is a funnier number for this, and then we have to stop it, and then you start the scene again. But yeah, with the first Lando, with the Calrissian Chronicles, I think there was a good 10 pages of junk that we deleted at the start. Before it started telling the story of Irene. Like we had to just like patiently go through it and just be like, okay, so it's telling some story about some guy who's who's the butler for the emperor. Okay, that's not good. And this isn't about Lando, and this isn't. And then finally, it was like, let me tell you the story of how I met my first wife. Like, thank you. This will be the one we'll keep.
Yep.
So it's a bit of hard work, like wrangling it together and making it work. Because sometimes the AI is it's like a it's like a drunk telling you a story, and you've got to be like, no, don't go off on that. No, come on, come back to where you were. I'll listen to your story, but I'm only going to listen to that story.
It's like any movie where like there's a wedding scene and someone's 12-year-old kid has gotten stuck into the booze and they're drunk at the wedding. That's the AI basically.
That's it. Yeah.
Which is not dissimilar to us in many ways. So it kind of works well. But like to Sean's point about like how we're passing stuff back and forth and whatnot. So the first one was Star Wars Episode 10, and like I pulled out, like spent maybe 2 weeks or something just bashing out this script and kind of learning what the AI does and doesn't do, but not wrangling it as much. What we really focused on that was just trying to turn this nonsense into something that was kind of cohesive. So it was more cutting things out, changing grammar, rearranging who says what, basic stuff like that, because sometimes it would begin a scene with 8 characters in it and give dialogue to only 2 of them, but you can tell that it knows that there's more people in the room because certain bits of dialogue are relative to something else, and like so it's sort of smart in that way. And so when you listen or watch Episode 10, it is chaos, but I assure you, like, if you read it, especially if you read it on paper, there is a story there. It's just that it's an A plot, a B plot, a C plot, a D plot, and an E plot, all sort of going concurrently. And then with Solo, we thought we'd try it another way because, like, I was having some family issues and stuff like that at the time, family health issues and whatnot, and so we thought, okay, well, let's try it the other way around now. So give Sean the crash course on it all, and then he bashed out the Solo script. I think other than like some little bits and so like we flipped that back around, and then we were a lot more conscious of the chaos, and so Solo 2 is a lot shorter than Episode 10, but it's a lot more focused of a story because we really weren't afraid to just cut things out. We were kind of fortunate in that sense because the AI wrote a lot of stuff, and we would write a lot of the leading stuff. So like we've said this in other, I think we did like a little behind the scenes video, we talked about it. It's like you have to write things like the opening to every scene. Otherwise, it's just one big scene. So you have to say, okay, well, in this part of the text, it said, as an example, Rey and Chewie leave the room. Okay, cool. And then later on, it's like Rey says this, Chewie says that. It's like, but there's no entrance to them. So sometimes you have to say, okay, well, let's turn that into a scene. So you pull it out. One of us then will write, interior Jedi temple. Rey is, I think from Episode 10, is like Rey is preparing for a party. Chewie is like that. So we'll write the scene based on what we know, and then put it back into the AI with any bits that it had already given us, and get it to work a new scene.
Right.
We did that.
Can you tell the computer to have main characters? Because if you're doing Solo, you want Han Solo to be prominent. You don't want 9 characters and then most of the dialogue going to R2-D2. You know what I mean? It would just be, I have some MP3 triggers. I can just sit here and press it all night if you want.
Solo was actually a weird one because it didn't. Yeah, the first part of Solo, he does sort of vanish, doesn't he, halfway through?
Yeah, it's light on Han Solo.
We didn't notice that. Yeah. We didn't really notice that until I think after when it was being performed, and we realized that Adam, who was playing it, just kind of stopped having lines, and we were like, oh yeah. So if I remember correctly, I think we went into part 2 and kind of a bit more conscious of that to kind of make sure that there was more of a sort of through line, and it was fine, but like you say, it will read. What's interesting is if you give it Star Wars scripts, it doesn't just read that. It will also, I feel like it goes online and finds its own stuff. Yeah. Because you can give it okay, I'm going to give it all the scripts for the prequels and write a prequel movie, and then randomly Revan from the computer games will show up. Or Solo 2, there was a scene where Dash Rendar from Shadows of the Empire shows up.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I didn't give it that. It's just found that by itself. And then
it knows.
And slight spoilers, sometimes an actor from Star Wars will show up. Not even a character, an actor will just appear in a scene.
Yeah, by name, yeah.
By name. And for the next script we're doing, we're probably going to get sued by a prominent Star Wars actor for what he does.
Well, I don't know if you can smell it from where you are, but I got Shadows of Empire on my shelf back here.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, cool.
And it's not.
So
we get that story
mad.
Too.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's unpredictable, I think, is the main thing.
Yeah. So this time we've done it differently again. I think we've run a third one now. Is it the third
movie? Yeah. So we did the Calrissian Chronicles in the middle, which was that was we fed it a bunch of scenes from Solo, a bunch of scenes from Return of the Jedi, and I think a couple of pages of one of the Calrissian Chronicles books, just to kind of give it a bit of whatever, and then we had to turn it into something. And in the end, it was the script. When we finished the script, genius. You give it to Chris, and it just becomes this next level piece of artwork. Because when he sent us the thing, and he had the mustache and the cloak and all that, and showed us the voice he was going to use, we're just I don't think it's going to matter what's in this script. It's going to be brilliant. But
and this time around we've gone slightly differently, because I think with Calrissian Chronicles we took a turn each. So Sean did the first script, I did second script, and then we proofread each other's scripts. And then in this case, we've kind of gone fully asynchronous. So we've gone, I think, jumping back and forth, taking turns between scenes. So like scene 1, 2, and 3, I think, were me, and then Sean, you did 4, 5, 6, I think, and then we'd sort of take turns, like going 1, and then alternating, passing back. And what's been really interesting, because we didn't know how that was going to work, is because we're using the AI to generate a lot of this stuff, so the tone is pretty consistent. And then it's kind of like we're producers coming in, or like the showrunners basically coming in saying, okay, no AI, you're stupid. You've said this and it doesn't make sense. Or it would make sense if I merge these two lines together, or, and so we've been doing a lot of that. And we've, I think it's safe to say, this one we've really constructed a lot more because of the way that we've done it disjointedly. Like we pull all this AI stuff, and then we've really gone in with a bit of a fine tooth comb and said, no, this actually fits, this doesn't fit. And then it's been a different but very good experience doing it this way, I think.
And it has been, of the scripts we've done. It's a learning
process, though, isn't it? As well.
It is.
Oh yeah.
It's learning to kind of cut out as much porn as possible in this one, we've found.
Yeah.
It got real bad.
Yeah.
It got real rude.
It's a romance story, right? And this is the thing that I have theories on this, right? So these AI bots and whatnot are only as smart as who plays with them. And if there are any female fanfic writers or woman identifying fanfic writers out there, I beg of you, not even to do anything necessarily with it, but please go and put your fanfics into the bot. And just teach it how to write from a non-porny point of view, because its own artificial intelligence, it's a learning computer. It's learned from Pornhub, I think, in some respects, because like some of the stuff that it spat out, like we would give it a cue. It's like this character and this character begin, and so we'll give it a light cue. We'll say begin an intimate scene. Because we don't want to give it too much. Always.
Are you saying there's porn on the internet?
Oh yeah. By the way,
and we have now contributed to it.
Yeah, but yeah. So we would give it a fairly innocuous cue, and it would come back graphic, and we're like, filth. Oh wow, filth, and then we're like, ooh. So like we keep it obviously, but then we have to. We then take some liberties with it, because we want people to be able to watch it and laugh, not watch it and be like, ooh, I don't know how I should feel about this, because ultimately it's comedy, right? This is entertainment and for laughs, not people's private slideshow material that we're trying to create here. So yeah, it's interesting learning that has been like, wow. And it feels like it's changed a lot between doing Calrissian Chronicles Part 1, which was kind of funny and a bit lighter with like any of the sexual stuff.
Yeah.
To even this, like whatever it's learned in the month between the two times that we used it, it's like, whoa. Jeez.
Yeah, it did go from like...
Maybe that's Chris's reading, though.
Yeah, it's
maybe it is more filthy than we thought, yeah.
Just sounds more filthy.
Oh God.
Okay, how about we get into your origin stories for Star Wars? Because obviously you didn't just like open up the internet and just I'll start liking that and I'm gonna do something like that. So Sean, what was your introduction to Star Wars? How did you get? Because you're a creator now, so how'd you get into this universe?
So I mean. Never. Yeah, no, I mean, and there was never a point for me in my memory where I'm like, I watched Star Wars for the first time. I think, it's just always been I was born in South Africa, and my brother was obsessed with Star Wars, so he used to like rent the videos all the time, and we just watched them all the time. So there was never a point, like I always said, there's never a point where I didn't know that Darth Vader was Luke's father. I've always known that. And then I was in Star Wars, and then I went off it for a bit a few years ago. Like I think, I think there was just before the Disney buy. Actually, I was sort of a bit over it because I think the Blu-rays had just come out, and the scene where Darth Vader's like picking up the Emperor and being like, "No," I was like, you know what? I'm done. This might be it for me. I think. I really disliked the prequels at that point, and I was just sort of like, yeah, I feel like I've just lost whatever this is. And then the Disney buy came in, and I was like, okay, let's see what this is like. And I think when I saw the teaser trailer for Force Awakens, that like sort of just opened it all up in my brain, and I was suddenly right back there. And then we moved to Australia at some point and lived in Australia for a few years. And it was actually quite weird. I was just sort of like tooling around Facebook, looking for like groups to join and trolling just by accident. Because I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any friends in Australia. I kind of had a few people I worked with and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I need some kind of community of people to talk to, because I'm just like, all my friends. No, that's that would explain it. Why just like writing all my Star Wars porn, being like, it's a long game, Rob. It's a long game of just like, right, I will befriend someone. The plan is join a Facebook group, befriend the owner of that group, join his YouTube channel, make him think that he had the idea for an AI thing, and then write Star Wars porn. So it's taken me 3 years, but I'm there now. But yeah, no, me and Matt just became friends through the group, and then he had his YouTube channel that he'd started making, and then I guested on it, and then Matt was like, "Yeah, do you want to co-host?" And I was like, "Yeah, I like doing creative things. I'll give it a go." And it's been interesting now, like the past couple of months, that we've moved away from doing essays to just doing purely. So anything in the movies it's in the Banthaverse, so it exists in its own continuity, its own canon. Which is better than the other canon because we have more porn. But yeah, I think that's definitely been better for. Nope. Sorry. Well, episode 10 created the hashtag Fincest when it was like, I can't even remember now. Was it Finn and Ray were brother and sister, and then they started kissing?
Brother and sister. Yeah.
But yeah, like moving away from doing essays to doing just Banthaverse stuff, I think it's been great for lockdown because it's more fun. It's been great for just like mental health because it's just you're not getting. At this point, I think I've heard every possible iteration of why I shouldn't like The Last Jedi, and so far none of them have taken hold. I still think it's amazing, but we've also got like fantastic. I don't know, Matt. Well, Matt, if you've noticed this, like, so we have a video about why the armorer in Mandalorian is going to turn out to be the villain, and I'm like a big I'm like obsessed with cults. I find cults fascinating, so I sort of used my knowledge of that and knowledge of Star Wars, and me and Matt, we wrote this video about how the armorer is essentially a cult leader and it's all going to come undone. And we made this video and we sent it out, and it's really, I think it's an incredibly good video because we wrote it and recorded, edited, and put it out in the space of 24 hours, which is completely not what we ever do. And it has been super popular and everything. But what's been interesting is like we're starting to get more comments on it recently. And you do just see that there are so many people on YouTube who would accidentally join a cult. And that's what I feel like this video has shown me. It's like, these are all the people who would be like, no. The Heavenly Father, man, is going to guide us to Xanadu. I just have to drink this. Like, word.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's cool to be now just Banthaverse because all the comments on Banthaverse have been, I would say, universally 100% positive. Like it's people just love it, and it's so
with the
much
exception
fun to
of two.
Yeah,
like
yes, no, of course, no.
Statistical anomalies don't get counted. Yes. We round up
because the negative ones have been like, I can't enjoy this because everyone's laughing too much. No, oh, okay, cool. Oh yeah, I mean, Yeah.
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 You can see it in his eyes.
Yeah, you can see him. Well, that's the fun of like sometimes when you're watching like SNL, like the sketch will be funny, but when you see the actors begin to break, that does add an extra level of funny to it. Always. So they're the two negative comments. People laughing too much, and I would prefer it if just one person read every part. That was a comment we got once.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh yeah, imagine that. I feel like I should do that. I should just one day just do that, just for that one guy. Just sit there with a piece of paper and just read the script in a monotone for 2.5 hours from top to bottom. Just to prove him wrong.
No. Yeah. So when I was born, I was born on a message board screaming at people about Star Wars 1977 and how Star Wars is the only true Star Wars. This A New Hope thing ruined my birth. That was my introduction. No, so I think I've got that fairly standard for someone in their late 30s kind of story. It's like, watch the VHS tapes that were taped off television with the commercials still in them by dad. So that was the introduction. Just burned a hole in those tapes, like literally burned a hole. Like found the first time watching Star Wars not with television commercials in them really weird, a real odd experience, because you'd get to the scene where like for me, you'd get to the scene where the droids have just been purchased by Owen Lars. You've had the bad motivator and all that sort of stuff. And there's...
Yeah, I was going to say that guy.
Yeah. So you've got that moment between that scene and when 3PO is saying, "Oh, this oil bath is going to be so good." That was where you'd come back from the commercial break. And so there was this, that was like the first thing that really stood out. I was like, oh, there's not commercials in this. I'm not being advertised Kit Kat. And I think it was Kit Kat and National Australia Bank were a couple of standout ads from back then. So that was weird. Also, little things like where the tape wore out on parts, or where the recording wasn't quite right, because you'd get like those pre-crinkled tapes,
and like the screen would sort of rotate and then come back, and there'll be like the lines coming through it.
Yeah, and like I was young, so I didn't kind of understand it. But in Return of the Jedi, in the opening scenes where Vader's shuttle is arriving on Death Star 2, and there's an officer up in kind of like the monitoring station or whatever upstairs, and he says, "Inform the commander that Lord Vader's shuttle has arrived." That exact line of dialogue, and only that exact line of dialogue, and the guy that goes, "Sir," afterwards, was really distorted. And I thought for the longest time that guy had this voice. It was like, "Inform the commander that Lord Vader's shuttle has arrived." And so the first time I heard him speak normally, I was like, "Wow, what? What
Lucas, stop changing my Star Wars."
Yeah, it was so weird. Oh yeah. You mean computer virus download?
Yes.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, defects, yeah.
Oh, there's a song. Oh, what's the band? It's a song by The Killers, and I had it downloaded off LimeWire, and it must have been downloaded off like American radio. So the version I had and I listened to for ages would like start off and it'd be like K-Rock, and then the song would start. And I thought that was part of the song. So I was like, oh, Killers, rock music.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, what a bunch of wank, but I still like the song. So then, and then years later, I listened to it and be like, oh, where's my K-Rock, man?
Yeah, I've got that with songs too. Yeah, taping like on cassette off radio. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, VHS kid, toys kept me in it. Mum was forward thinking enough to take the Star Wars toys from garage sales that backward thinking parents went, oh, my kid's too old for toys now, so let's just have a garage sale and give them all away. Mum just took them. Nice. So I have like a good bucket of loose figures at home, including things like Yak Face, which is one of the most valuable ones now.
Was it released in Australia?
Yeah, Australia, Brazil, and
Canada. It was here.
Yeah,
just not US.
Yeah, bizarre. Hey, so so I got like the toys kind of kept me in it, and the early video games kept me sort of involved or liking Star Wars through it. I never could get into the novel, like the extended universe, the old Legends stuff. I tried. There was I bought something once that came with a Star Wars Now Legends book. I can't remember what it was, but I sort of remember the cover was Luke in his Return of the Jedi outfit and his saber, and I can't remember what was behind it. Anyway, got it and I tried it and I was like, nah, I just couldn't do it. Couldn't get into it. Tried again another time later and I was like, nah, it's something, I'm not interested in this enough. And, I did the thing with the prequels. I was like, oh, prequels. And, went for it, went in hard and actually enjoyed all of them at the time. The special editions, loved it, and then did the whole like, oh, I'm starting university now and oh, look at me, I'm jaded, man. I've grown up watching Gen X television and Gen X movies. Yeah, that's my attitude, even though I'm not Gen X. All right, great. Cynicism and not liking things was cool. So, and then went off that vibe as well. And similar to Sean, it was like The Force Awakens awakened the Force, I guess. And it was just like, oh, and so, that feeling like something long dormant has been sort of sitting there, and that was it. It's all been downhill from there.
Well, I've been pretty lucky because for
my
those
wallet,
who are playing the Round Table Bingo, I saw Star Wars at a drive-in with my parents in 1977. Oh. I say that every episode so that I have to shoehorn it in somewhere. So I saw I saw that when I was a kid. So I got the, it's 10 by the time they all came out, and I loved it. I had all the figures. I recollected all the figures. Like I just loved it. But then the prequels came out where I was after college years, so I was like 25, right? So I ended up getting. I didn't have that jaded, I'm too cool for Star Wars. So it was like, oh, well, I can appreciate this, and I'm a semi-grown man. I can enjoy this without, like worrying about people laughing at me. So I enjoyed the prequels when they came out, and then of course the Chewie, we're home, Han, and instantly you're back, and now you're podcasting and you're doing all this other stuff. It's one of those. It's a weird thing because I don't know if people watching this and listening to this know I'm an astromech builder, so I built Alive. I'm in the astromech club. We're kind of like the 501st or the Rebel Alliance. We build droids, and I have a 1-for-1. Like R2, he's upstairs. He's not here. The one I was just flashing on the screen, that's my baby R5. I'm trying to finish him. But so I got all this nerd stuff where if people watching the Flannel Beaver Studios, it's just piled with Star Wars stuff everywhere. It just became a thing I like. And the trilogies came out when it was okay for me. Like I watched the ones when I was a kid. By the time the prequels came out, I was old enough to be like, I don't have to sneak off to the theater to watch them. You know what I mean? Like it's just so. The timing was perfect for me. Like it was just, and now, Mark Godsiff from Talk Star Wars was in the UK. That's how the roundtable started. We're part of Talk Star Wars, and it was a monthly show on there. And he's like, Orlando Celebration. He had media passes, and he was like, "Hey Rob, why don't you meet me in Orlando?" And he's like, "You're in North America, right?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, but I'm by Toronto, Canada. It's not North America. It's not like Australia, where it's like, oh, you must know Doug from Australia." Well, no, it's a little bit.
I like that you said Doug as well, because that's a very appropriate name.
Okay, here you go.
There are literally everyone knows everyone in this country. It's fascinating. The amount of times that people have accosted my father-in-law because they went to his butcher's shop once in the tiny town of 1,000 people that he lives in the middle of Australia. Like, I'm in a restaurant. "Oh, you're that butcher from that town." I'm like, "Yeah, he is." Walk away. I'm having a meal. Okay. Jog on.
Well, we get the exact opposite, where it's like, "Oh, you know Bob from Edmonton?" No.
All right.
No, I don't know Bob from Edmonton. Well, you're Canadian. Well, yeah, there's more than Bob and I here. Like, but anyway,
there's at least 3 Bobs.
Yeah,
which one?
Minimum, yeah. Like, that's why I go by Rob or Robert, because there's just, I don't want to get confused. So anyway, Mark was like, "Why don't you go to Orlando?" And then I go to my wife. I'm like, "Hey, Mark wants me to go to Orlando," and she's like, "Why don't you go?" Now, granted, Orlando is in my time zone, so I don't have to jet lag I can hop a flight. I'm still international. I'm going to the States. I'm going to Florida of all places. And nothing goes wrong in Florida, right? So
no, never.
No. So now I had this thing. It's like, oh, wow, that was really cool. Like I was always that wasn't for me. That wasn't. And then now it's, oh, I'm definitely going to the next one. And then I have a daughter that's turning 18 this summer. But when she was turning 15, I made it a daddy-daughter trip where we went to San Diego Comic-Con. Because your daughter's 15. Cool. She's not going to want to hang out with dad go on a trip with dad for much longer because, school and boys and everything else. So I'm like, This is great. It's a bucket list thing. San Diego is still very far from Toronto. Like, so, we're flying across the continent. But it was like, wow, that was really cool. And then the Astromech building came in, and now it's like I went to Chicago. Obviously, Matt and I, that's where we met. And now I've been holding on to these tickets that have been rescheduled 3 or 4 times for Anaheim, and I'm just it's just my thing I go to. It's like that. I do all the same stupid jokes when I'm in the States. I buy something at one of the vendors, and I do Canadian credits will be fine, and I wave my hand in front of their face, and they immediately laugh and say no. Canadian credits are useless here in the States. So it's just and it's so innocent. Like, I mean, it's like somebody asks, like, "What? Your wife took a trip without your husband took a trip without you?" She'd be like, "Yeah, he's going to Star Wars." He's
going to Star Wars?
Does he even Star Wars? So anyway, that's my thing. That's my thing with the community. It's just it's awesome. Like it's okay. It's okay to like what you like. It's okay. And watching what you guys do, and like it just and I implore everybody to check it out. Go to the YouTube, because there are so many Star Wars podcasts. There's so many Star Wars, and it's great that we're all out here doing this. But you guys do something that is unique, which is impossible in this day and age of content creators. Like the more you like Star Wars, and the bigger the fan you are, the funnier it is. Like it's my wife.
The deeper the cuts.
Yeah, exactly. Like my wife can watch it and get a few giggles, but like the more you know, like I said, I read Shadows of Empire. I got that. Like when it rolls off, it's like you're gonna catch it, and there's so much there. It's awesome, and it's inspiring, and I love it. It's so.
Thank you.
So
it's that thank you. That means a lot, because it does. Like Alex Damon has said something similar once, and you know, it's nice when anyone recognizes that. And as I think in the creator community as well, like it is really hard. This is as a hobby. I mean, doing something as a hobby, I think when it's especially when it's serious, when you take it serious, you know, you put yourself on a schedule, you give up your personal time to do it, you do all these sorts of things. You know, for all the good intentions in the world, we say, this is just for me. I don't care if anyone watches it or anything like that. I'm doing this for my own reasons because I'm a fan, and if I get 3 people watching it, I'll be happy. You're happier when more people watch it, and you're happier when more people engage positively with something. And so, yeah, when you say something like you said, and you know that it is something that you can connect with, and that your wife can get a laugh out of as well. And you know, like similarly, like my partner, like she watches them all. Like as we're doing, like I'll be in this room and she'll be on the other side of the wall with the headphones on, watching it live. And you know, every now and then I can hear her. Like, she's laughing. Like she's laughing her ass off at certain things, and she doesn't know Star Wars as deeply.
Right.
She knows the movies, you know, back to front, you know, and all that sort of stuff. But like, yeah, we really have tried, I think, hard to make something that is accessible and fun for anyone that just knows what Star Wars is.
Right.
And there's stuff in there. There's stuff in there for like the super nerds. Like there are some deep cuts that will fly past people, and you know, just one-liners.
Yeah. The amount of things that we've had to like Google and been like, what is that word? And then you Google it and it's on Wikipedia, and it's like it's a species that appeared in the 1987 role-playing game. You're like, okay,
yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, another thing too. I'm not a Star Wars trivia person, like when they do with the Schmoedowns, or I know Laura Kelly is just it's amazing how some people get this. You guys, you know, Trivial Pursuit, the trivia games. I'm sure you have Star Wars trivia games in Australia.
Yeah.
Right? Like so.
Yeah.
We have I don't know if you're familiar with Trivial Pursuit. It started.
Yes.
So you know that I have a Star Wars one. Nobody wants to play with me because everyone is just like, well, no, it's ridiculous. Either the answers are Luke, Anakin, or Han. That's 90% of the answers, and even all the tough ones, they're not tough to an avid fan.
Yeah.
So just a trick. My oldest was really into Harry Potter, so we got the Harry Potter questions, right? And you can play Harry Potter Trivia Pursuit. But what we do is when we play, when she rolls around the board, she answers the Harry Potter questions, and I answer the Star Wars questions. So you end up having fun. The game is unbelievably quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can actually, somebody can have, if they're Game of Thrones, they can answer Game of Thrones questions. You have to have all these. You have to buy them all, unfortunately. But so if you want to play with family and friends, or you can answer the Star Wars ones and they can answer the regular. Like it's just I found it's a hack. And it's been
that's good.
That's cool, actually. That's a really good idea.
Fun, because I'll be reading questions and I'll be like, "Oh, Dumbledore was born and blah 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 blah," and my daughter will just rhyme it off, and I'll be like, "Oh crap, yeah, no, I didn't know that." And then, you know what I mean? It's there's for a lot of questions in Star Wars that are very obvious to me aren't obvious to everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm sure in your friend and family groups, you guys are the Star Wars guys. Like I get buddies sending me Star Wars memes that I saw 3 months ago when they first dropped, but because they finally hit their social media feed, it's like, hey, look at this funny thing. It's like, oh yeah, it's hilarious. That's I saw that 800 times.
I sometimes have that where someone will send it to me and they'll be like, oh my god, have you seen this? And I'll be like, I made that.
Well, read the credits, would you? Come on. Awesome, guys. I don't want to take too much more of your time. You guys have a lovely, chilly Sunday, winter.
And you can see them rugged up. So.
Yeah,
it's not just for high fashion.
Oh, there you go. Christmas. Yeah. We're in the middle of summer here in Canada, and believe me, we get 2 months. So I'm enjoying. People complain about the heat. It's like
milk it.
Yeah, exactly.
Milk it.
Exactly.
It's awful here at the moment.
Oh, that's it. So whereabouts are you in? Without
we're both in
your street address, not your mailing address.
So I live at 106. So we're in Melbourne. So we're kind of like southern. We're not in southern Australia. That's a different place. We are east of southern Australia.
Excellent.
Which is confusing. But yeah, it's cold as anything. And it's kind of one of those things where you're sort of like, I'd love to just sit in, wrap myself in a blanket and watch TV and all that. But my baby's 4 months old, so he needs to be walked. So we kind of me and Fiona are just really kind of psyching ourselves up, getting wrapped up, wrap him up, and then it's just get out into the rain. And he's in his little plastic bubble over his pram and all that. But yeah, you got to get him outside. So we'll see.
Well, there you go, and enjoy it. I got a couple kids myself, and it's excellent. And you get the opportunity to. I got to look at my oldest, and when she found out, we're watching. You can watch Star Wars in any order you want, right? Yeah. You can do machete order or whatever you want to do it. But I got to sit at the couch and watch somebody hear, "No, I am your father," and I got to they're seeing this for the first time. Maybe not as giddy as I was, but still, it's a cool moment with your kids. So expose them, but don't spoil them. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult. I know that.
My nephew watched them in episode order.
Right.
And when I spoke to him about it, I was like, "Oh, well, what do you think of Star Wars?" And he was like, "Uncle Sean, there's a little boy in the first film, and then he gets to be a bigger boy, and then a bigger boy, and then he turns into a robot man." I was like, "Oh, okay." And he was absolutely amazed by it. I was like, "Oh, I know what happens." Then he's a real bad guy, and then he becomes a good guy.
Well,
I love it.
I'm on that total redemption. Because you threw your boss over a ledge in a fit of anger.
Who hasn't wanted to do that, though? Really?
Exactly. And it wasn't until after Luke suffered a lot. Not to mention younglings and all this other good stuff. Anyway, we're not getting into the Star Wars debate. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Please tell everybody where they can find, if you have any personal socials, this is the plug time, this is the patron time, whatever. Just
Sean?
Yep.
Take it away.
Okay, so obviously we're on YouTube, Blue Bantha Milk Co. We've got another Banthaverse video coming next month, which is
August 15th, US. August 15th for us, 14th for the US.
Yeah. And it is episode 2.5. A senator and a Jedi, is that right? The senator and a
Jedi and a senator.
Jedi and a senator. And it is the action-packed tale of Padme and Anakin's honeymoon. But be sure.
Fantastic.
It's very good. It's very, very good. The AI created a new original character, and both of us got me and Matt both got obsessed with this character, seeing how much we could seeing how much the AI would just continue to punish this one character, and it is incredible. And I can't give any more away, but it's pretty amazing that the AI just hated this one character. And we just kept putting him back in to see what would happen. Which is pretty good. And then we got another. Oh yeah, no, my God, he's gonna be a fan favorite. Calrissian Chronicles episode 2 is on the way. We're gonna be putting that together.
So that's on me.
We might release.
That's on me. Because my laptop's being serviced. As soon as it gets back, I will.
So we might release that between, because there's going to be a month between episode 1 and 2.
Looking through that inbox, like, what the?
Oh no, they got a different account to do testing in. Yeah.
What do we have here?
You stay out of my scripts. It's IP.
So that'll come out between part 1 and 2, or after part 2. We haven't decided yet.
Right.
And then we're going to be doing a panel at Force 5, which will be in October in Melbourne. It's like a little mini celebration that they're running. So we're going to do a panel on that, which we're putting together as well, which is going to be pretty amazing. The Twitter is Blue Bantha Milk.
Yep.
Yep. And yeah, check out our Facebook. We're doing so our Facebook group, Blue Milkers?
Blue Bantha or Bantha Milkers.
Bantha Milkers.
I can't remember.
I think it's it's Blue Bantha Milkers. I look at it every day. We're doing a favorite Star Wars characters poll. So there's 128 characters that I've put in, and it's just a poll every day. You can just vote for it. Once people have got over the initial thing of not understanding what a poll is, which was, are you saying these characters are fighting? Like, just pick your favorite character and shut up.
Well, again, if it's just like an election. No, American friends, no, it's not like an election. Let's not.
Yeah. Let's not bring that up.
No. Yeah, I know. I understand you. I understand your issue with explaining this to people. So that's fantastic, guys. And again, so Celebration Anaheim, you guys.
I've got my ticket. It all depends on whether our incompetent government can actually do a vaccine rollout to, get themselves out of a paper bag. Which at the moment the answer is no. But assuming by early next year that we might actually reach a reasonable level of vaccination status, then they may consider opening up flights. So holding onto my ticket, saving the money just in case, really hoping that it can happen. But yeah, it's not up to me at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I've actually been lucky enough. I got my double vax. But I ended up with 2 different kinds of vaccine. I know lots of people are saying, "Oh, you got to become like people." It's fine. Get vaccinated. It's great. But like, it's for me. It's like I'm just waiting because the Canadian-American border is like heavy traffic, right? So we drive through. So every day it's like, are we open yet? Are we open yet? Because just the commerce between the two is it's crippling. So yeah, I'm in the same boat. Fingers crossed. If they don't let me in, I understand. If they don't let me in because of COVID, I understand that too. If it's personal, I get it. Sure. I understand. I'm not gonna, it is what it is. So I'm in the same boat. So fingers crossed. I'll see you there. And
I hope so.
It'll be, and
really
if we do. Maybe if we do a live roundtable somewhere, you can join us. Because
we'd love to
pick random people and I'll talk to Morpar and Cody, see what they got going on. So I don't know if we can find a brewery down in Anaheim. I'm sure we can. So we'll.
There is one. There's at least one.
At least one. You mean, and it's at least one. It's American beer. Come on.
Look, okay. We've got to go back to the American beer thing.
Just say
so West Coast beer, I've got to say, because like I grew up probably with kind of the same impression of American beer, where it was like Coors and Miller, and that was kind of it. But you have to sort of say that everyone thinks Australians drink Fosters, and no one drinks Fosters. No one drinks Fosters.
I bought a can of Fosters when I first came here as a joke. No one laughed. That's how much they do.
Yeah.
It's not even like a funny thing. It's like, why are you drinking?
No.
Oh, okay.
So, I grew up with that, but the first time I went out beer drinking obviously as an adult, but in California, that was a big eye opener because even beer here, we all grew up like, all the Americans and their light beer and all that. It's like, that just means lower calorie. And that's not what light beer means here. Light beer in Australia means low alcohol beer. So we grew up thinking that all American beer was 2% alcohol. And we were like, our 5.1% alcohol is strong. No, we were wrong. And then I went there and going to tap houses on the West Coast, and going to a small tap house and its version of small is 50 beers on tap or 100 beers, unique beers on tap, many of which are past 10% alcohol. I'm like, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And it's all craft, or it's all good. And I was like, oh my God, this has changed. This has changed. And the last time I did that was the first day of a work trip. We had to go to Disneyland the next day. We did 3 venues, 2 of which had 100 beers, 1 had 50 beers. At the 3rd venue, I was getting tasting paddles because you could pick anything. And I was just going to the far right of the board. And I was like, I'll get all of those. So I was doing tasting paddles of Imperials and all this sort of stuff. And it's actually put me off any Imperial beers now because I threw up on the walk home. This was in Santa Monica. I threw up so badly, and there's a video of me rolling around on the floor in our Airbnb talking absolute nonsense, just nonsense, and not able to get through a door. I'm not able to crawl through a doorway. I just kept shouldering into the door frame. So thanks, American beer.
Yeah. Okay,
thank you for changing my mind.
So how was the next day? Was great, right? You just walked it off.
Yeah.
100% had a fist fight with Goofy.
Yes.
100%.
Exactly.
You're not even a dog.
You own a dog? You are a dog? What are you?
Exactly. Excellent. Gentlemen, thank you very much again. And
thank you.
Again, I implore everybody to go out and check out your YouTube channel. It is literally laugh out loud, like LOL.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love it. So until next month, I'm Rob Cast, and we'll see you next time on the Roundtable. Later.
Bye.
Bye.